Welcome to the Step by Step podcast by Hidden Strength. We really hope you enjoy this episode.
Hi, I'm Leah.
Hi, I'm Sadie and we work for Sandy Bear Children's Bereavement Charity, and this episode is on grief.
If you find anything upsetting or triggering throughout this podcast, please feel free to have a look at the links below.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the podcast. And today we are really proving that collaboration in community is definitely the best way forward when it comes to support. And I'd love to introduce Sadie and Leah, some of the incredible team at Sandy Bear. I say that and there should be like rounds of applause, being like, whoa, 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 clicks and snaps. Hello. How are we doing?
Good, thank you.
Really good.
Welcome to the podcast. I totally appreciate this is a very different working day for you both to be like, hey, come on the pod, come to Cardiff. How we do these podcasts is kind of just giving the mic to you. And I think the one thing that we both have in common working for Hidden Strength and Sandy Bear is the idea of supporting young people and showing them that one size fits no one when it comes to support. So for anyone watching and listening, I'd love it if you could explain a bit more about who you are and then maybe a bit afterwards about the role that you do at Sandy Bear.
Yeah.
Fab. So my name's Leah. I'm a bereavement practitioner with Sandy Bear, so I cover the whole of Carmarthenshire area at the moment. I got into the role because I just got a love of psychology. I studied psychology at university and then I got a job afterwards in a secondary school, and I worked alongside Sandy Bear a lot, helping children in school that had suffered a bereavement. So I worked alongside supporting the children with their academic side of things, and then through communicating with Sandy Bear I found out about all the lovely work that they do supporting children through any kind of bereavement. So I did some training with them to get a little bit more of an insight and kind of expand my skills working with children. And then I just thought, this is so amazing. I loved what they did. I loved how they helped children, made a difference in their lives and helped them through the worst possible time in their lives for the majority of them. So when the job came up, I just bounced it, and I loved working here ever since. It's just amazing making that difference and that impact in these children's lives. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. I think you...
Yeah, I'm Sadie and I'm an area lead for South and East Wales. I also fell in love with psychology in uni, which I did in Cardiff. And then I worked a bit then in dementia in the NHS, which I really liked. And that's kind of a side of anticipatory grief. So then I did volunteering with the charity. And I did my first teen group, which I fell in love with. I love teenagers and the fact that you get to give them their voice and they all come together nicely, don't they?
Yeah, it's lovely.
And I saw a job role come out as a bereavement practitioner. So then I applied for that. And then a year later then I got a, what's it called?
Promotion.
I love that.
Yeah, to area lead. So now I mainly work covering Swansea, is where I do one-to-one. And I really enjoy it.
Yeah, and you're setting
All
up now
aspects of it.
the rest of South East, aren't you?
Yeah.
So we're slowly expanding across all of Wales.
As you should.
So
Yeah.
fantastic.
Because at the moment we're only in person in Pembrokeshire, Cardigan, Carmarthenshire, Swansea, and then
Monmouthshire and Torvine.
yeah.
So yeah, and then online for the rest of Wales. So we offer online support then for anyone aged 0 to 25 that has suffered some form of bereavement or like an anticipatory bereavement. So
And
we
it works
can-
quite similar, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's the same support you get face-to-face as what you get online then as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like at some point we'll insert kind of a map of Wales with all the counties. So
yeah,
if
that'll
anyone's...
help people.
Yeah.
Because it does get so confusing.
And we always get told when it comes to Wales, there's a lot of vowels and it all starts to sound the same. So
Yeah.
we'll put a little insert and be like, this is here, this is there. And obviously link Sandy Bear and all the incredible work they do anyway. But how would you describe the work that Sandy Bear does? Oh, trick question.
Yeah.
Heartwarming.
I would say, yeah. And it just feels, it's like it's a privilege to go to work.
Yeah.
And I don't think many people get to say that, but getting to speak to young people is, and the parenting carers we do a lot of work
Yeah,
with.
definitely.
And it's just amazing to hear people's stories. And it's just, yeah, to talk about the dead. It is quite nice as well, isn't it?
It
'Cause
is,
it's keeping
yeah.
that person and their memories alive.
And I think for me, like when I say to people I'm a bereavement practitioner, they're like, oh, that must be really hard, that must be
Yeah.
really sad.
Yeah.
And because actually not, we do a lot of nice, positive memory making activities. We've got like our memory boxes, we do nice little salt jars. And I think for me as well, it's getting to talk about my loved ones that have died every
Yeah.
day. And it's like, it's just there's a lot of job satisfaction just knowing that you are helping children and their whole families really through some really difficult times.
Yeah.
I think
Quite
it
empowering, isn't it?
It is empowering.
And to put it back to them as well.
Yeah.
They find it really empowering to do.
Wow. And have you been in the role long, or like how long have you been working for Sandy Bear?
We've both been working for a year now,
About
haven't
a year,
we?
yeah.
I was
Wow.
volunteering for
previous
8
to-
months
Yeah.
previous to that. But it feels like we've been here forever. It's
It
really
does,
weird,
yeah.
isn't it? And each practitioner that comes in, I think, says that because it comes so natural, doesn't it?
It does. And it's just, I think we kind of hit the ground running with Sandy Bear, didn't we? Just
Yeah,
as we
we
were kind of
did, yeah.
expanding. So it's been nice that we've been able to grow and develop in our roles
Yeah.
as the charity's developing as well. So that's been really good.
So the work that Sandy Bear does, it's for anyone between 0 and 25,
Yeah.
right? Is there any kind of specific criteria with that?
No.
How does the engagement process works with Sandy Bear?
So we literally cover everything. So any kind of bereavement, whether it's like historic. So we see children, we see teenagers that have lost their parents young or like lost a family friend, something when they were young. And that grief has kind of come out when they've like transitioned to secondary school or university. So we take any form of bereavement. So historic, recent,
yeah.
sudden, traumatic deaths. We kind of support with everything and anything, 0 to 25.
And anticipatory as well, as long as the
yeah.
person has like a palliative diagnosis.
Yeah.
But anticipatory sometimes can look like we come in with our support and then we step back, and then we come back in when they need it again.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that's amazing. And I think the real standout is the fact that we look at the idea and the concept of death and no one wants to talk about it. It's always the elephant in the room. It's always that taboo that most people will just try and change the subject as quickly as they can. So it's actually great to hear the work that you're doing, but also saying, you know what, we actually need to talk about. We need to talk about it. We need to
Yeah.
talk about the
Yeah.
things that people are scared to talk about, but also show it in a way that people feel safe to explore that, not
Yeah.
just with you, but like other members of the team too.
Yeah, definitely.
And we work a lot with schools, don't we? And
Yeah.
like sometimes what I found with some of the young people that I work with, that they go back into school and everyone's like, oh, we're not going to say anything, don't want to upset
Yeah.
them. But sometimes they want to talk about it, they want to be asked, they want that check-in. So I think for us as well, we give a lot of staff, like teachers, the confidence
Yeah.
to ask children how they are and like ask them about their loved ones and not kind of shy away from it as well. So that's like another aspect of our role, isn't it? Supporting
Yeah.
teachers to support the children as well. So that's quite...
And delivering training as well, isn't it, to
Yeah.
different organisations, which is quite good then to spread the word again.
So the training, is that more of an awareness of the charity and the incredible work that Sandy Bear does, or is that more kind of models of grief and kind of showing that no two people grieve the same way?
It's both of them.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah.
And then we go through our like memory making activities and
Yeah.
how we
Yeah.
approach children. Because a lot of the time, adults are just really scared of speaking about it, aren't
Yeah.
they? Or how they approach it, or how they work with children that have
Yes.
suffered a bereavement. So that's what we just aim to make them feel more
Yeah.
comfortable in that.
And about using like the right language and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Because like a lot
That's
of
the most
people...
important thing, isn't it?
Yeah, they tend to want to protect children by saying it as nicely as possible, like, oh, like granddad's gone to sleep or he's gone to heaven. And for some young children, that's really confusing. They don't understand what that means. So I think for us then as well, it's like, in a lot of our training, a lot of it's focused on language. So using like
Yeah.
words like death and dying just to give them some clarity.
Yeah.
And yeah, we go through like the models of grief,
Yeah.
don't we? We talk a lot about the Tonkin model of grief so that it doesn't, there's no set stages as such and you can never get over it or move on
Yeah.
from it. It's like we grow with our grief.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like...
And grow around it as well, isn't it?
that's it.
Yeah.
So like in my first session with children, when they come in, I say like, I can't take all these feelings away.
Yeah.
They're your feelings, you get to own them and that you're allowed to have all these feelings. So then like we show them how they can grow around it and how their lives get bigger and we look at their aspirations for the future. So I think we kind of talk about that a lot in our training, isn't it? And
Yeah.
giving other professionals the tools to make these little interventions and to help children see through their grief, if that makes sense.
Oh my gosh, totally. And I think that's such a good point because the 5 stages of grief is almost like, even my phone's over it. The 5 stages of grief has almost become quite like a fashion
It's
statement.
the most
almost,
well-known one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to the point where people now look at it as the only way that
Yeah.
you can grieve, and especially on social media as well. And we'll definitely get into it, spoilers for ahead, but I think it almost becomes quite trendy. And if you share your grief in a public space, which is incredibly empowering, but
Yeah.
that idea that you can only grieve if you complete those 5 stages, whereas you've just said there are other models of grief.
Yeah.
How do you kind of share that and translate the psychoeducation to the people that you work with?
I draw a lot of mine as well. So like the Tonkin one's really easy to draw. So we draw that a lot of the time, don't we?
Yeah.
And they take a lot of comfort as well when we talk about the 5 stages of grief, and we just say that's not how it goes. It's not like a linear process. You're not going to be at
Hitting
there and then
everyone,
you're going to get to
Yeah.
acceptance. It's just not how it goes. And we always draw on as well, like the word acceptance is quite a big word to use when it comes to grief. Because how can you accept an bereavement? It's a really difficult thing to do, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we often just draw them, and then like with the parenting carers, then we talk about them, and we do it in our group as well, don't we? In teen group and in children's group, we touch on the models of grief.
So it sounds like a really accessible way to show that
Yeah.
that theory, which you would try and explain to a young person about models and psychological theory, they'd be like, I'm going through a tough time. I don't need to be schooled on top
No.
of that. So could you explain in a bit more detail what that Tonkin model of grief is?
Yeah, it's like, it starts off and it's like a circle like this, so it's a red circle, and it basically shows that at that stage, so when you find out your special person's died, it's really suffocating, and you don't feel like life will ever get better. But then there's like a circle that goes round it, so that might be like a few months later, and your life starts to grow around. But as it goes on, it doesn't show that red circle getting smaller. It just shows that life grows around it.
Yeah.
Because often people say that like after like 4 months, they're like, oh, you should be getting on with it now. You'll be okay. Like it's been a while.
Yeah.
But that model kind of argues different, doesn't it? It just says we grow with our grief and like our life grows around it, but our grief doesn't get smaller in time.
Yeah.
So I think it can offer you comfort in that you're, whatever stage you're at is normal, and that's okay to be like that. And often for the parent and carers, it's quite comforting to think that they're not going to forget their person.
Yeah.
Because they're petrified of doing that. And I think the 5 stages sometimes gets you to think that, doesn't it?
Yeah, like if I accept it, does that mean that I've forgotten about them
Yeah.
almost? I think with our Tonkin model as well, so like we draw the circle with their like feelings that they feel around grief.
Yeah.
And then we do how their life grows around it, so things that they enjoy doing and
Like new clubs, new friends. Is like
Yeah.
your circle expanding, isn't it?
yeah, and like their circles just get bigger and bigger. But then we also say about how sometimes they, like little triggers might spike it. So those feelings from the middle might kind of take over for a little bit, but it's only temporary, it doesn't last forever. And they don't feel as suffocating as they did to start with.
Yeah.
But they're still there and they're still with them. And then we can like look at different coping strategies and stuff for when they do spike out. And I think they respond really well to that, don't they?
And I think it's a good thing to bring up as well when they've got like anxieties around anniversaries, Christmas, birthdays, and saying it's okay if you do go back to that first circle, but you won't sit in it for ages like you did
Yeah.
before. It might just be like a few days or a week that you'll feel that deep sadness, and then that will go again. So it's kind of comfort in the fact that you can go back, but it doesn't mean you're going to stay there forever.
Yeah.
Because our families like dread Christmas or anniversaries. It's obviously a massive thing, isn't it?
Totally.
So then trying to put like coping strategies in place and kind of normalising it and saying that day will be really hard and it's okay to feel like that.
Yeah.
So you're kind of like preparing yourself then as well, aren't you?
But it's also being really realistic. And
Yeah.
like going back to people just think that there is that only one way to grieve. You should be sad. And when you're not sad anymore, oh, it's fine. Like you said, there's that acceptance. And
Yeah.
there's that quote from Banksy that says that a person actually dies twice. The first time when they actually pass, and the second when
People stop talking. isn't
yeah,
it?
people stop talking. So it's actually really refreshing that you take that concept and keep it growing, keep it moving, but also how you communicate and share that practice, not just with young people, because of course, how you would communicate that to a child under 10 versus a teenager or even someone in their early 20s would be completely different. And like, so how do you manage to keep the real fundamentals about grief, but also the ethos of Sandy Bear and be that accessible and apply it to all those different age groups? Because that can't be easy.
I think as long as you're child-led
Yeah.
and like whatever the young person or the child wants, because
Yeah.
sometimes I'll go in with a plan, I'd be like, right, this session, we'll go through things
This
of
is what
grief.
we're
And
doing.
I'll
Yeah.
sit down and a teenager will be like, no. And I'm like, okay. Yeah. And then it will be something, it would be whatever they need.
Yeah.
And I think because what we do is like therapeutic intervention, so a lot of it is memory making, a lot of it can be like quite crafty.
Yeah.
So it gives them then things that they can do in their hands, activities they can do, but they can speak at the same time.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
find that for teenagers and children really work as well, doesn't it?
And a lot of the time, because they are busy with their hands, they're not realising, they're not sitting and thinking about what they're saying. So it all just kind of flows out of them then.
Yeah.
And I think
And they enjoy talking about their special people.
They do. They love it. And I think for us as well, like we work really hard to create like a safe space for them.
Yeah.
So they do just feel comfortable, and then it's just whatever comes out in that session comes out, and we just kind of roll with it and flow with it because we are so led by our families. Like whatever they're comfortable with on the day, that's what we go with.
Yeah.
So
There's no like aim for each session that you kind of have to reach.
I think that's the other great thing about our support is we haven't got any like set sessions. It's not like 6 and that's it. It's kind of like as much as our families need, and we can step in, we can step out. Like there's no...
And they can re-refer as well, because grief hits people at different ages as well. So you might see a 6-year-old, they'll go through the whole process, and then at 12 they might get re-referred in because they've got a different understanding of what death is. And I think as you get older, you miss special people at different times as well, don't you? And like the move between primary school and secondary school, we always find massive adjustment for young people.
Yeah. And like for the older ones then, so when they're going off to university, it's like the
grief
big,
comes up,
the big milestones,
Gosh, that's so true. And you don't really think of a young person having such pivotal milestones. But like you just said, it's the small things that would make you think. And it's so refreshing, especially this idea of being child-led. Like, so can you explain a bit more about that and how that works, not just for you in practice, but also how that benefits the people that you're working with?
Yeah, I think each child grieves completely different. I've never even met one adult that grieves the same.
No, definitely
or one child. So it's just about asking what their understanding is, what they kind of want out the sessions, what they would like to do on that day, and you can kind of judge their mood and what they're kind of feeling, isn't it? And then I suppose just tailoring a session around them. We do have certain aims to do in a session and things that we would like to do with them, but it's just being guided by them, really, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. So like in our first session, we usually do like a big family tree. So we kind of get to know the family dynamics a little bit more. And
you find out so much.
Yeah, you do.
It's really fun.
It's
we call it like a genogram, don't we?
That's it. Well, we call it our Sandy Bear genogram because we put like emotions on different family members. So it kind of gives us that idea then of the children's like emotional literacy, so how much they understand about emotions as well.
And who their favourite people are as well.
Yeah, exactly. So like from that we get like their emotional literacy levels, we get their like family dynamics, their circle of support really, so you can tell like who they feel like they can go to, because it's not just family, is it? We do pets, friends, teachers, family friends, godparents. We do, everybody goes on this family tree.
It's good to rule out any safeguarding as well, isn't it? Because you find out so much. Because we'll do like a heart and we'll be like, what does mummy feel on the outside? And that can often be like, oh, she's happy, but on the inside she might be really sad because you can hear her crying at night. So it's quite good then that it gives the parent and carers an opportunity to realise that their children can hear it and they can see it, even if we're not showing it. And I think for children as well, it's normalising that we can feel 3 different or more different emotions at once. We don't just have to feel sadness, because sometimes they're like, oh, I'm not crying all the time, I'm not grieving, I don't miss dad. But you do, but grief is coming out in different ways. And you can also wear a smile but still be sad inside.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's just normalising. Our main thing is to normalise anything that they're feeling. Because anything you feel in grief isn't wrong.
No, that's it, isn't it? I think that's our main thing really, isn't it? Normalising. Normalising their feelings, normalising their grief, and just knowing that however they're feeling is okay.
And each bereavement is so different. We have different relationships to different people, so it doesn't look the same at all.
But then as a caregiver or a parent or someone that works with or spends time with a young person that has experienced grief, that idea of being child-led, I can imagine, creates some anxiety for the grown-up in the situation. Do you have those kind of, do you come to, I'm going to start that again. Have you ever experienced kind of parents being quite apprehensive about the idea of the child leading and kind of navigating their own processes? Because we find so often that parents or caregivers just want the best for their child. So sometimes that means they will kind of project or take ownership of the experience. Yeah, I'd say so. I think parent and carers have anxieties over bereavement. Is something that nobody wants to talk about, is it? So they obviously have their own anxieties. And most of all, they're also grieving. So it's like an impossible time for them to navigate. And then they've got a child where they almost feel like they need to stop their grieving process, don't they? To kind of protect their child. But then it's just us having that phone call with them, having that communication with them, and just saying what you're doing is okay, and just trying to normalise it for them, and just saying you can't protect your children from this. Like the bad thing has already happened. Anything now is just trying to make your child feel comfortable and like allowing them to ask questions and giving them answers. And we like try and guide them through that then with like different language they can use as well, isn't it?
And we're always there if they need to speak to us then. Because we do our initial phone call with them, don't we?
Yeah,
Before
so
we meet the family.
when we get a referral in, we ring the parent carers, and we kind of have we build a bit of an idea of the case that we're going to be taking on then, so we can get to know the parent through the phone call and kind of their thoughts and wishes and what they would like the support to look like. So we have a bit of an idea before you get to meet the child, and then once you kind of meet the child, you kind of, it's not like an assessment as such in the first session, but you can kind of get to know what support will work best for them. And then you just kind of make a plan from there, isn't it?
Yeah.
What you think would work best for the family as a whole. Because even though we do just support children, we do
very
offer
holistically, don't we?
Yeah, we offer a lot of advice to parents. And sometimes it's just that reassurance that it's okay to cry in front of your child. You can be upset. You don't have to hold it all in and be strong for them. Because it's also healthy, isn't it, for children to see how other people grieve.
And it's normalising their anxieties as well, isn't it? Because it is massive.
Yeah.
And it's not something that you think you're going to have to speak to a child about.
No.
And I think we spend a lot of time speaking to the parenting carers, isn't it? Because we can't support a child without supporting parenting carers.
Yeah.
So it goes hand in hand. And I think especially with the anticipatory, at the start, that can look like just speaking to the parenting carer for quite a while.
Yeah.
Rather than, and then you meet the children later on, because obviously the parent needs so much support.
Yeah.
And then we work quite collaboratively then with other services, so we'll always signpost where they can get their support from, and we'll offer as much as we can, really, won't we?
Definitely.
Gosh, this is so bizarre but yet healing, because obviously being Welsh, Sandy Bear wasn't around when I was younger. I know that makes me sound like I'm a fossil. But I actually lost my brother when I was 9. And I'm just thinking back to my own experience of grief, and I'm thinking, I don't think I ever saw my mum or my dad cry.
Yeah.
And listening to what you're saying, I always wondered, did they ever have someone to say to them, you are allowed to cry in front of your child? If anything, that's really healthy and that's normal. So it's actually a bit of healing myself here, listening to it, knowing that, yes, grief is one of the worst experiences in the world, but encouraging and normalising the good, the bad, and everything in between, and how that comes out in responses is actually really heartwarming.
Yeah.
But with that, and you've mentioned about being child-led, but also that holistic balance that you adjust and you cater your support to the people you're supporting, because no two people grieve the same regardless of the age. How do you find kind of the challenges of that? And one of the things that come to mind is the idea of young people attending funerals. There's almost a bit of a taboo about funerals should only really be for grown-ups or those that have the emotional capacity to process kind of the experience of a funeral. Have you had any experiences kind of in that space?
Yeah, I'd say as a charity, we always advocate for children, young people to be given a voice.
Yeah.
So we would say, I would ask them if they would like to go. And sometimes you can then explain what a funeral setting is like. You can explain what the day would be like.
Yeah.
And then the child can decide. Because I've worked with some children who's no, I wouldn't want to go. And then a lot of children I've worked with really want to go. And they kind of want to make something out of the day. They want to choose the music. They want to choose the outfits. And then they get the opportunity to do that then.
Yeah.
So we do always advocate and speak to the parenting carers, because it's often, I think it's our experiences that shape then how we deal with our children as well.
Yeah,
which we kind of explain to them as well, don't we?
We do have a lot of parents that are I wasn't allowed to go to a funeral when I was younger because children aren't meant to be at funerals. So that kind of, they think that's the way that it should be. So I think then us really saying to parents, actually, maybe we should give them the option.
Yeah.
We've got some great resources that explain about funerals, explain about burials, cremations, in age-appropriate ways.
Yeah.
So a lot of the time it is just having that conversation and then giving children the option.
Yeah.
And if, for whatever reason, they're not able to attend, so safety reasons or anything like that, we always say it's nice that they're included somehow. So whether they choose a song or flowers.
pictures.
Yeah. We do a lot of letter writing. So we do a lot of sessions with children where when they've lost somebody close to them, that we go out and we write letters that we then deliver to funeral directors to go in the coffin.
Oh, wow.
And we photocopy them, so the children get to keep one, and then one goes in the coffin. And then that's just that they've had some sort of an input. So even if they can't attend the funeral for whatever reason, they've still been able to say goodbye in their own way.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, I think giving them the option.
Yeah. And a lot of the times when you give your time to parenting carers and you listen to their reasons as to why, a lot of it can just be anxieties.
Yeah.
And we always say as well, if it's a main parent or carer that has died, we always say try and find someone in the funeral that the children can go to, because it's really important as well that the parent has that time to grieve. Like a funeral is a really important day for everyone, so we just try and support them as much as we can in that process.
Yeah, because funnily enough, when we've noticed on the app and the support that we deliver to young people, there's been such a rise lately in anticipatory. No, said it wrong.
Anticipatory.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We'll leave it in. And the idea that people are starting to experience symptoms and signs that kind of fall under that grief umbrella, but they almost feel like they shouldn't because that person is still here and they haven't actually passed. I was wondering if you could explain and kind of share some insight into that idea of grief and how that looks, and if there's any kind of resources or advice or any practical support that you would deliver.
Do you want me to start?
Yeah, sorry.
I think it's really complicated, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think it's completely normal for people to start a grieving process even when someone's here, because I think you already start to learn that this will be your last time you're doing these things, and families really hold on to that. And I think it's just about saying that, like, this is really hard and these feelings are normal.
Yeah.
And often I think children, young people it's quite normal for them to withdraw from that person sometimes as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because they can be quite scared of speaking to them when they're really ill. But it's just we do a lot of memory making with them. So we would do like a family memory box is what we do with them. Oh, wow. So they'd put in all their like family holidays that they've been on.
We've got little jars that they can fill with like sand if they go to the beach.
Yeah.
Letters, we do a lot of letter writing. So I think that's really important as well, because you get what you would like to say down, and then you can give it to that special person, and you kind of get to do it before that time's gone.
Yeah.
So our like main thing is memory making. Whenever something is anticipatory, we think memory making is so important.
Yeah.
And you only get one shot to do it right as well, don't you?
Yeah,
So that is
definitely.
kind of what our support is. And then I think with the younger children as well, it's kind of delivering that news and gathering their understanding, because it's really important that they are told.
Yeah.
And I think going through any of their like anxieties or any of their worries, and just kind of putting things into like plain simple terms for how the children can understand, and sometimes being that voice outside of the family for them.
Yeah.
So it's like they might have some worries that they don't feel like they could talk to mum about in case it upsets her,
Yeah.
or worries about granddad that they don't feel like they can raise because it might upset so and so. So I think as well, being outside of the family, they feel a little bit more comfortable to talk to us.
And they often are like, oh yeah, can you tell mum?
Yeah.
And then we can
Exactly.
go and say, oh look, they're really confused about this, or
Yeah.
they'd really like to do this with dad. And then we just give them that voice
Yeah.
to go forward with. And I think, as I said, memory making, and like doing photos with all their hands together.
handprints.
It's just things then that they can keep forever. And then when their time comes, then we're quite supportive with like funeral planning,
Yeah.
and getting the children's wishes in place as well, what they would like that to look like,
Yeah, for sure.
or where they would like to be when that time comes. Because often we assume children,
Yeah.
young people, we assume what they want and what they need, but asking them can be completely different.
Yeah, definitely. I think we facilitate a lot of those conversations.
Yeah.
So a lot of the time the parents will be like, I don't know how to talk to them about this. So sometimes our sessions can just look like having a conversation and just supporting the parents to ask the children, or putting the children's wishes across to the parents.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's just being there, isn't it?
Yeah.
To facilitate those difficult conversations.
And the parenting carers are so grateful for it as well, aren't
They
they?
are, yeah.
Because I think in grief, and especially when it's an anticipated grief, you're just in this bubble and you don't always
Yeah.
think,
No,
do you? You're
exactly.
so like in your own thoughts. So when we put it back to them, like, oh, do you think the young people should know this? Do you think they're like, it'd be really good if they knew the prognosis? They're like, oh yeah, I didn't even think of that. How would I say that? So it's
Yeah.
just then trying to give them the confidence, isn't
Yeah.
it? To like be able to have those conversations.
And a lot of the time children are like sponges. They know what's happening. They know something's going on.
Yeah.
Walls are thin. They hear.
They hear
everything.
everything, and
Yeah.
like they pick up on everything. So I think as well, sometimes saying to the parents, like, they probably already know,
Yeah.
and like them not having a confirmed conversation is
Yeah.
giving them more worry. So sometimes it is just giving them that reassurance that it's okay. It is okay to talk to them about prognoses and diagnoses. There's a lot
Yeah.
of socises there. But, yeah, that it is. I think it is just offering that reassurance, isn't it? And like just being there for whatever they need.
Yeah.
And that you can't say the wrong thing.
Yeah.
Everyone's so panicked about that, but even if you just listen to a child, or you just you're trying to have a conversation with them, if you get it wrong, that's okay.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world, is it? Because often you're so worried about saying the wrong thing that you just end up not saying anything, which in turn is worse, isn't it?
It is. And like I've got a lot of families where somebody's been diagnosed with cancer and they've told younger children, like, oh, they're just very poorly, they've got a nasty bug.
Yeah.
Because to them, explaining cancer is such a big thing.
Yeah.
But I think there's lots of, like, children get confused and they've got a nasty bug, so then they think, oh, a sickness bug, does that mean I might get poorly and die?
Yeah.
So I think sometimes it's these big scary words, it's like okay to use.
Yeah.
And I think it's just reminding parents and carers that it's okay to use them, and like we can help guide them in appropriate age, appropriate ways that makes sense to children, if that makes sense.
Oh my gosh, totally.
Yeah.
But then also the work that you do, and like you said, you can do the one-to-one work, you can do group work, but also because you are available across Wales in various capacities, when you have your community work and you go out with kind of, if it's a larger population, I imagine, especially if there's any sudden deaths or particularly kind of suicides within schools, do you still have the same framework of support, or would that be tailored depending on the circumstance?
I think everything's very tailored, isn't it?
Yeah.
With school support, we go out into schools.
Yeah.
Um,
And we often then offer support. Our first thing would be like to speak to the head teacher.
Yeah.
And we offer support for the teachers because it's massive for them and they get so concerned about what language to use.
Yeah.
So we'd support them in that and what language and how to tell the children this news. And then we'd then go in and offer any support for any parents that had any anxieties.
Yeah.
And then we'd work with the classroom then as a whole.
Yeah.
Because often as well you're like, oh, but they were only friends with these 5 people. But it's often the people that are really quiet can be really suffering.
Yeah.
And I think when there's like a death in a school, it often triggers other
bereavements as well, isn't
bereavements.
it?
Yes, and
Yeah.
you may have a child who's like, oh, my granny died a year ago, and that's really triggering for them then to have another bereavement so close, isn't it?
Yeah.
So then we do group work then in school, and again, that's all about memory making. So I'd be like memory jar, doing books about that special
Yeah.
person, writing things in it, and then eventually you can give that to the family. And that's
Yeah.
quite an amazing thing to have then.
Gosh, yeah.
And we
for
always say
sure.
about like a memorial as well, don't we? Like
Yeah.
lighting candles and just having a place where children and young people can express their grief is so powerful as well, because in schools sometimes it's like, oh my God, that's happened, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to say, so let's just sweep it under the carpet.
Yeah.
Let's just
And that
leave it and move on,
shouldn't,
isn't it?
yeah. And it just doesn't, you just hold it then, you don't know how to grieve either
Yeah.
or who to go to.
Yeah, exactly. And especially even when we look at suicides and the statistics and the likelihood of someone engaging and attempting to take their own life following the success of someone that they knew that's taken their life, like that ripple effect is, it's absolutely harrowing to think about. But the fact that you're able to provide such a quick intervention, but also show kind of the power of the positives within such an awful time, making the most of memories and really commemorating that person for who they were and giving people that space to explore whatever emotions come up. But you were mentioning before we started filming about new legislation that's looking to come in regarding schools. Could you explain a bit more about that?
Yeah, so the government are just bringing in now, there's new legislation where death and dying will be talked about more in school.
Wow.
So we're offering out some training to education staff just to help support if they've got any worries or if they want to know how to talk about death and dying and just give them the confidence a little bit more. So I think it's going to be brought more into like the PSHE lessons and humanities lessons, talking more about death and dying and grief, which I think is a really big positive.
Yeah, it's really positive. I think it just opens the floor for more
Yeah.
conversations as well between.
does.
Because often the problem is children and young people think it's just them going through it. And that's why like our peer support group's great.
Yeah,
Because
they
they're like,
work
oh God,
amazing.
you've had that. You haven't got a mum either.
Yeah.
And it brings them together because often it's so isolating when you're grieving and you just feel like you're the only one in the room.
Yeah.
So I think that'd be really positive to bring
Yeah.
that in.
Because it's interesting because the idea of peer supports with grief almost doesn't make sense. Like it's something that I think society, on a societal level, we look at grief being very individual and it's ours and it's quite closed and you don't get to see my grief, I don't get to see yours. But
Yeah.
the fact you hold those spaces for people to come together and share that,
Yeah.
that must be
It's amazing.
incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's my favourite.
It
It's probably
is.
one of my
It
favourite
is the
bits about the
best.
job. And as well, because you work with them all one-to-one and you know all of their like personalities, so
Yeah.
bringing them all
Yeah.
together, it's really fun to do, isn't it?
It is, it's just lush. And I think especially for me, I work in such a rural area, so some of the schools I go to are so tiny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like sometimes it might be that they're the only people in that school that's lost a parent or lost a sibling. So then to bring them to a bigger peer support group that's got other people that have lost parents and siblings, I think just seeing them all come together and support each other, it's like sometimes we don't even have to start the conversations.
No.
They just
They just
they
go
have
for
the
it.
confidence to just
Yeah.
go for it then, don't they?
And we have like a Cubs peer support group,
Yeah.
which is like below 6, isn't it?
It's lush,
and then
yeah.
children's group is what, 6 to
11.
11, and then we have teen group then. But with
Yeah.
children's group and cubs group, there'll be parent group that runs alongside.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So that will give the parent and carers a chance then to tell their
Yeah.
story. And that is so empowering to sit in as well, isn't it?
It is.
Because then they all get to speak, like, oh, does your child do this? My child does that. Or I really struggle at this stage. And again, it's just normalising it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they take the floor, don't they?
And I think it gives them a chance to start talking about their grief,
Yeah.
because I think most parents, they are so focused on their children. So by separating them, and we have the children in one room, parents in the other room, they do very similar activities, don't they?
Yeah.
So I think it really gives the parents a chance to go into their grief as well and kind of feel their feelings. And it's lush because they do similar activities. So afterwards, then when we all come back together, they're like, oh, look what I did. And then it's like the conversation carries on then, doesn't it?
And we do like a memory jar. So that's like 5 different memories and they're all colour coded.
Yeah.
So you could do like, mine was my granddad, so it's like green for golf, red for our last Christmas, yellow because he loved having a beer on a Sunday, and then it was like scarves because we used to do fancy dress, and then like red for love. And then often the parent and carers and the child will have the same colour memories.
Yeah.
So then they all come together and they'll have the exact same memories, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which is so nice.
Wow.
And then they often say like their car journey home, they just talk about their special person, which often families don't do
because they're
so
worried
it's
about
really
upsetting each
special.
other, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
And their faces light up.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's just the biggest standout here is just the importance of providing that safe space for people to explore and having that reassurance that you are there to help guide them through that, and whatever that looks like, it's okay because they're safe and you've got them and they're in that environment where the worst thing that happens is that they're being vulnerable and they confront feelings that maybe they've not felt able to.
Yeah.
One of the things that really stood out to me kind of learning about Sandy Bit is the idea of a memory box. I was wondering if you could walk us through the idea of a memory box and what that is.
Yeah, fab. So I brought my memory box along with me today. So my memory box is for my nan, and it's got lots of different kinds of memories in. So like a lot of the time when we do memory boxes, I'm trying to like, but I haven't got anything from them to put into it. But we always say like, you don't have to have anything specific. It doesn't
make
have
it,
to be
can't you?
gifts. Yeah,
Yeah.
we do like a lot of making.
Or we'll put like a Chinese menu in.
Yeah.
Like if that's a menu, like a takeaway that you guys always
Yeah.
used to have.
Yeah.
Or I'll always say, what was mum's favourite chocolate bar? They're like, oh, Whisper.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, you
Favourite
get to
packet
eat the
of crisps.
Whisper and put the packet in
Yeah,
there.
and they love
And
it.
it's those little things that keep us
It
connected,
is.
because we often talk about like invisible string. So it's then like an invisible string to your special person.
Yeah.
Because there's things like there's the way you act is the same way as your mum would have acted, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the way that you like a Kit Kat, your mum liked a Kit Kat. So it's just trying to keep all of that quite alive and keep them connected, because we always say to them, like, when you have children out, you'll be able to show them a bit of your mum.
Yeah. And it's like, it's these little memories that you forget about.
Yeah.
So like in my memory box, and I've got a box of angel cakes, because my nan used to buy me angel cakes every week.
Yeah.
And I went off to uni and she still bought them every week. So when I came home from uni, I'd have packets and packets, and I got sick of them. But like, that's in my memory box. And I'd
Yeah.
completely forgotten about that until it came to making my memory box. And now
Yeah.
like every time I open it, I see that box, that empty box of angel cakes.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's just a lovely memory
Brings
to
you back, doesn't
yeah,
it?
it does.
Yeah.
For sure.
And it's just something that I'd forgotten about until I was like, what can I put in my memory box? And it's just something that I popped to Tesco's. I think I bought a reduced box of angel cakes.
Ate them all.
ate
As
some
you
of them,
should.
yeah, exactly. And then, yeah, I just popped the packet in, because children are like, oh, right. And then I think I've got like a Whisper bar in there. It's just like little bits like that. It doesn't have to be.
An order of service is quite an important thing to put in there as
Yeah.
well. So even when like the person's really young, so like a 2-year-old, we'd always say like, let's make a memory box,
Yeah.
and we can just put loads of stickers on top of it, so children find that so
Oh, they
fun.
love doing
And we'll write on the
stickers.
top, so it could be like Nanny's memory box, and then anything that reminds you of that special person with
Yeah.
stickers. So we got like best nanny, we'll put all of
Yeah.
that on it. And then there's like a photo frame that goes on the top, so that'll be a photo of them, and then it can just be any memories they can put in
Yeah.
it. And as a child, I think it's quite nice having something physical.
Totally.
Because I think sometimes when someone dies, we keep all their things, but we want it to be in a safe place, which children can't touch, children can't
Yeah.
play with,
Yeah.
because it's so special.
You don't want it to
Yeah.
get broken.
But having
yeah.
something that you can have ownership of and that is yours is really important as well, and that's what the children love about a memory box.
I think particularly for the young children as well, it's
Yeah.
like other people can put like different memories.
Yeah.
So like I always encourage like other family members to write little stories of like
Put
this
in there.
of the special person. Yeah. So it's like they still have all those different memories, and it's like they can grow up with the memory box then, and we say like you can add to it forever.
Yeah.
Like if you see something you think,
She would have liked
she
to
would
put
have
it in
liked
there.
that. Yeah, pop it in your box.
Perfume bottles is a really good thing to put in.
Oh my
We've
gosh,
had like a favourite mug before, and there was like the imprint because the nan had it for that many years.
Drinking.
You could just see where she'd sip out of. And we had like a
God.
sugar spoon before, so anything like that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you can literally put anything in.
Yeah.
But it's really nice.
And they're really special. I think, particularly, I say to children, when you're having a bit of a down day and you're thinking about your special person, you're feeling a little bit sad, it's nice to go
Yeah.
through all those positive memories.
Totally.
Yeah. Because sometimes I was so scared to think of our special person.
Yeah.
But whenever you do think of them, you smile, and it's nice
Yeah.
to think of their memories.
Yeah.
And we kind of say as well, it's okay to cry, it's okay to be sad, that's normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what grieving is.
But it's like okay to laugh and remember all the funny
Yeah.
times as well.
Totally.
So, yeah. I think the memory boxes are
I love
fantastic,
them.
aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then anything we make then in group just builds on that memory
Yeah.
box. So
Yeah.
it's special.
Oh my gosh, I can't thank you enough. I just feel like this has really shifted, and I hope when people listen and watch, kind of the idea of grief, that it isn't the doom and gloom and all those
Yeah.
stereotypes. You really can take ownership and have a really empowering stance on remembering someone, and
Yeah.
it's focusing on the memory side rather than the idea that they're no longer here. I wanted to ask, and I ask this to everyone because we never know who's listening or watching the pod, but there's so much in here which is so helpful for so many people. I think there's so many different ways people can relate to not only the work that you're doing, but also bringing in that lived experience and the power of having your voice. I'll ask you both because I imagine you won't have the same answer. If anyone watching or listening could take away one thing from this episode, what should it be?
Oh, that's a really tough question. 'Cause I feel like
Probably talk about your special person. Allow yourself to sit in it and allow yourself to have those memories.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're really painful memories. Not all of them are pleasant. But sometimes you might unlock something and it might make you smile.
Yeah.
Because I always used to never do it. I didn't want to think of them. I didn't want to think of the special times.
Yeah.
And I'm in a job where I get to. And it is quite empowering. It is nice to do so as well, isn't it? Because that's what my memory box has made, 6 years later.
Yeah.
And then I felt like I could kind of grieve because I was, oh, this is such a positive way of doing it.
Totally.
So I would just take time to talk about your special person or look at memories.
Yeah, no, I think that's really powerful. I think for me it would be just to feel like similar to yours, like allow yourself to feel, like feel your feelings, own it, and just
Feel everything,
Yeah,
yeah.
like there is no right or wrong. Like you feel how you feel, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And
And just reach out for help if you need it as well, because
Yeah.
there's people everywhere
Literally.
and you're not the only one going through it.
No, that's it.
Yeah.
Thank you both so much.
Thank you for having
It's been
us.
lovely.
Pleasure. Absolute treat.
Thank you so much for watching today.
If you feel like you need additional support after the podcast, we've linked resources below.
Please like, share, subscribe, whatever you're listening to us on today.
And download our Hidden Strength app.